most Muslims nowadays, most student of knowledge want to be. And sadly enough, a lot of so-called teachers, they call towards learning the Arabic language for the sake of accessing books, and that's it. For the sake of reading, and that's it. And that is not the way of the Salaf. And in this video, I'm going to tell you, Taymiyyah, he said in this book right here, and it's actually way bigger than this, but I couldn't pick all the books, how he said that we should be towards the Arabic language as Muslims, especially as students of knowledge, as al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, those who carry the flag of knowledge and sticking to the Sunnah and living a life that sticks to the Sunnah. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he says, وَمَا زَالَ السَّلَفُ يَكْرَهُونَ تَغْيِيرَ شَعَائِرِ الْعَرَبِ حتى في المعاملات وهو التكلم بغير العربية إلا لحاجة فقال مالك من تكلم في مسجدنا بغير العربية أخرج منه. He says in Majmu al-Fatawa, volume 32, page 159. The Salaf always disliked changing the symbols of the Arabs, even in transactions, which included speaking in non-Arabic languages, except when necessary. Malik, Imam Malik, he said, whoever speaks in our mosque with other than the Arabic language should be removed from it. Your goal as a student of knowledge should be to learn the Arabic language to follow the Sunnah, meaning speak with it, which is the main goal of a language. If you go to Sahih Muslim, to Hadith 3346, is a long Hadith, the story of Zamzam water. In the Hadith, it explains how Ismail learned the Arabic language from the Arab. It doesn't take rocket science for somebody to understand that in those times, there was no rules, no grammar rules, there was no writing, but rather it was a language that was a spoken language, and it's sama'. And Ismail was the cause why the rest of the Arab learned the Arabic language. So the way how he learned was the tab way of learning the Arabic language. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the most eloquent of the Arab and anyone that spoke Arabic. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he's Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Abdul Muttalib ibn Hashim, from the tribe of Quraysh, and Quraysh from the Arab, and the Arab from the Durriyah, from the descendants of Ismail. So in Sahih al-Bukhari, in Hadith 3364, part of that long hadith, he says, وَشَبَّ الْغُلَامِ وَتَعَلَّمَ الْعَرَبِيَّ مِنْهُمْ وَأَنفُسَهُمْ وَأَعْجَبَهُمْ حِينَ شَبَّ فَلَمَّا أَدْرَكَ زَوَّجُوهُ امْرَأَةً مِنْهُمْ. The boy, Ismail, alayhi salam, Prophet Ismail, grew up and learned Arabic from them, the Jurhum tribe. And they admired him as he grew older. When he reached maturity, they married him to a woman from among them. So the goal of the Arabic language and how you should approach it is first of all to learn it from its people, how they speak it. So I did a quick search on ChatGPT right now, and I asked which skill reveals your level in a language the most. It says number 1, listening comprehension. This is the hardest skill to fake. Number 2, speaking. Speaking immediately exposes vocabulary, fluency, pronunciation, confidence, and ability to think in the language. And then number 3, reading. 4, writing. 5, vocabulary. 6, pronunciation. 7, accuracy. Interestingly enough, it says about number 5, vocabulary, with 4 stars out of 5. It says someone with a large vocabulary sounds advanced almost immediately. Limited vocabulary is usually the biggest bottleneck. Then we have number 7, grammar accuracy, with 3 stars out of 5. He says people often overestimate grammar. You can have perfect grammar and still struggle to communicate. Or you can make grammar mistakes and still function at a very high level. So listening comprehension and speaking with 5 stars out of 5. Reading with 4 stars out of 5. Writing with 4 stars out of 5. Vocabulary with 4 stars out of 5. Pronunciation with 3 stars out of 5. Grammar accuracy with 3 stars out of 5. So when it comes to a language, the thing that you have to focus the most is these 2 things, listening comprehension. So you can do number 2, which is speaking. That's the whole goal of a language. And this is why language in English, lengua in Spanish, llengua in Catalan, langue in French. All these Latin languages, and I know 5 of them fluently, it all alludes to the language or the tongue, the organ that is used when speaking. Likewise, in Arabic, we say lisanul Arab, the tongue of Arab. And the Arab in those times, they didn't write the language. So this is my attempt to change the perception of students of knowledge, those who want to eventually understand the Quran how the Arabs understood it. You need to look at acquiring the Arabic language as trying to make it your main language, your first language, not just a language that you learn how to read books, so you can take Majmu al-Fatawa, open it, and read, whatever text here, and then translate it into English when you're teaching, or just basically using the Arabic language just to read books. That is not how it should be. You should try and be the person in your family that breaks this pattern of your descendants and your ancestors not speaking Arabic, and try to speak with your family Arabic. Try to have children be raised up in the language of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, even if it's a dialect. Pick the closest dialect to the Arabic language. That will help them more than them just knowing English. That is the reason why when colonizers will go to Arab countries, the first thing they would do is give them our values, i.e. make them speak English, make them speak Portuguese, make them speak Danish, whatever it might be, and only allow them to speak in these languages. Close all Islamic schools, close all Arabic schools. Don't allow them to speak with this language, because that is what had Muslims connected to their book. And if you're connected to your book, your faith is strong. And when somebody has a strong faith, you cannot change his ideas. And that will go against what the colonizers want to do. And there are books where you can see these colonial strategies. Like, for example, Alexis de Tocqueville. He says in Writings on Empire and Slavery by Alexis de Tocqueville, he says, "We have made Muslim society much more miserable, more disordered, more ignorant, and more barbarous than it was before it knew us." And these are the writings on Algeria and the whole war that happened in Algeria and how French tried to colonize Algeria. Likewise, in the policy of the French, which is called French Assimilation Policy and Mission Civilisatrice in French, it says that French language equals civilization. Arabic/Islamic systems is backward. Indigenous identity must be replaced gradually. And the resources for this is Frantz Fanon, The Wretched of the Earth, Memmi, The Colonizer and the Colonized, Charles Robert Aguirre, Modern Algeria, in Edward Said, or I guess it's Edward Said, Culture and Imperialism. And the quotes are countless. But if you think about it, indigenous identity must be replaced gradually. That's what they would do. Let's just have all these Muslims, countries, colonized by other countries, and have them stop using the language. And Muslims in the West, these dummies, they are just going to learn the language just to read the books and then not speak it and not care enough. And you don't realize how much speaking the English language on a day-to-day basis and social media and all this propaganda and the culture that comes, a heavy culture that is given to you through the English language or through your mother tongue or whatever it might be. Every language has a culture that goes with it. And your Akhlaq are heavily by the language that you speak. And your Deen is heavily impacted by the language that you speak. And this is why Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he says that اعتياد اللغة يؤثر في العقل خلق والدين تأثيرا قويا بينا ويؤثر أيضا في مشابهة صدر هذه الأمة من الصحابة والتابعين ومشابهتهم تزيد العقل والدين والخلق. He says that accustoming yourself to the Arabic language affects the mind, the character, and the religion. A strong, clear effect. It also brings about resemblance to the earliest generations of this ummah, the companions and the tabi'een. And that resemblance increases one's mind, religion, and character. If you are Muslim, please, especially if you adhere to the Sunnah and you claim to be a student of knowledge, don't have this mentality of, I'm just going to learn the Arabic language just to go over books, and then I'm going to speak to the rest of the day and my family and everything all in English. It will never allow you to master the Arabic language to the point where it maybe becomes your first language. Think about it. I'm speaking in a language in English right now, which is not mine. How accurate I am, how fluent I am. Do you think it's impossible for you to get this fluent at a language that is not yours? Would you be fine being this fluent in Arabic as I am fluent in English? At one point, I didn't know English. So is it possible? Yes, it is. And you taking the Arabic language as your day-to-day language is going to have a clear effect in your religion.